Yo, it's your boy Kobus-The OG. I'm just doing an update on Bitcoin and Ethereum. We can see that both Bitcoin and Ethereum, they have traded into the daily and fair value gap. Okay, this is Ethereum. You can see that Ethereum did trade into that, and when we go to we see that when we were trading into that, first we started with a consolidation here. We started with a consolidation there. Okay, we started with a consolidation and then started with this consolidation and then expanded high. Currently, what are we doing? We are consolidating. So it shows that now the market is accumulating orders, and then we will wait for the market to give us a hint of where it wants to go from now, since it has already traded into this gap which we anticipated that it would trade into it. Okay, so it's the same thing on Bitcoin also. It's consolidating, so we shall wait and see if we get a bearish model inside this daily FVG. Okay, so that's just an update I have for now. Peace. Here is your boy Kobus-The. So this is an update on price on Bitcoin and Ethereum. We see that on a daily we have visited that area and now we are rejecting it. Okay, and then this is Bitcoin. You can also see that we are rejecting that price level. Okay, so when we go to 4 hour, we have a divergence right there. Bitcoin failed to make a higher high, whereas Ethereum made a higher high. So I take that as a sign of reversal right there. You can also see that we disrespected the 4 hour fair value gap. Okay, on Ethereum, you will create a new 4 hour fair value gap. But here on Bitcoin, we just broke structure and we created a 4 hour FVG, and we are also disrespecting the 4 hour models like this. You can see this gap here, we disrespected it, and this below gap here. Okay, so we're going to wait for the retracement into the 4 hour FVG and rejection. I'm out. Peace. Yo, it's your boy Kobus-The OG. So these are just the journaling of the trades I took. Okay, this shows you how I was viewing the market during the the setup. So you can see this is my trade 14, which happened on the 14th of October 2025. Bitcoin versus euro dollar. What the hell? Bitcoin versus dollar and Ethereum versus dollar. Okay, so this is a short setup. 1 day imbalance, a retest, 4 hour sell model, and 4 hour fair value gap as entry point. Notes: Bitcoin is very weak compared to Ethereum. There were 2 bearish FVGs created, but Ethereum managed to rebalance all, while Bitcoin left a breakaway gap. It's what I just said on the previous video I just recorded. I'll just combine them and make one. So I'm waiting to see if the current 4-hour FVG holds price. You can see how the market was reacting away from the gap. Okay, so these ones are Bitcoin photos. I just took the screenshots. Okay. You can see this is price on a daily. This is on 4 hours. We initially just melted towards this, and when we were melting, when price was melting, it was disrespecting the 4-hour gaps which it created on the right. Check the 4-hour gaps which it created with green candles. Just pierced through them, and then this was my entry on Bitcoin. Okay, and then these are Ethereum photos. Okay, same explanation. You see Ethereum was very weak, was very strong compared to Bitcoin, and then Ethereum pierced through the first FVG, went above the next one. I think I said I entered on the small one, the lower one on Ethereum. I was wrong. I placed the limit order when the first one was actually being created, the above one. So yeah, the order got triggered. Bitcoin, I saw that this one is it's very weak, so I don't think it's going to. I anticipated that it's going to create a breakaway gap. Okay, so we had a divergence breakaway gap creation. There was like 2 confirmations that were dropping. Okay, whenever we leave it's a form of SMT. If you can check it, it's an SMT divergence, because we are trading above that candle's high. We can use the SMT as the favorable gap versus the current candle which is printing, both on Ethereum and Bitcoin. So yeah, I still need to journal. I just took screenshots during the week when I was, so I'm just going to sit down and package everything. I was taking the screenshot and the videos. I'll try to create a proper video and see how it goes. Yo, it's your boy Kobus-The realist OG, and today we are doing weekly review of Bitcoin and Ethereum, which was posted on the 11th of October 2025. In order for you to gain insights from this, journaling of mine, specifically this video, go and watch the video which was posted on the 11th of October, because that's where I was actually explaining what I'm expecting from the market during this daily favorable gap. Okay, so yeah, if you did not watch that one, go watch it so that you can facilitate the learning process. So we see that the market indeed, it went to that daily FVG, and then after that it melted towards that sell side liquidity. Firstly, what I would like to highlight is how the market actually behaved once it tested the the 1 day fair value gap. We see that we swept this daily high here, okay, and then after we swept it, we closed inside its range, okay. And then now let's go to a lower time frame to see the setups which formed. The setup actually formed on 4 hour, okay. So okay, so I for sure you can see that there's no alignment in terms of like times here, because now these blue lines, they represent the daily prices, okay. But remember, now I'm using New York time zone instead of the standard time zone, which is GT00. I'm not sure about it, but yeah. So when we're looking at the daily, I'm just going to interpret it like this. When we're looking at the daily price, we see that we set previous day's high and then we closed inside its range, inside that daily fair value gap. And then when we go to 4 hour, we see a sell model. We see that the market, what it did is it melted and then it broke structure here. So we had a break of market structure here, and then this is our change in the state in delivery. Let me use my PC because my PC is slow. It will find me on the way. We had a change in the state in delivery right there. Okay, so we had a change in the state in delivery right there. Okay, I'm trying to use my PC. I'm trying to use the PC and see if we're gonna win, but my problem is I think there is a network delay because it's not actually reflecting what I'm doing on the equipment. It's slow. I don't know if I should wait for it to synchronize or what. I'm just going to continue because I can wait for it. It will sync as it sync. So we had a change in the state in delivery there, okay. And then do you see how this move which broke structure, this move, there's speed plus momentum. The candles are big and they took like less time to break structure, okay. So once that was done, we had two fair value gaps. We had this lower fair value gap, okay. Okay, it's synchronizing. We had this lower fair value gap for our fair value gap, and then we also had the upper for our fair value gap. Okay, so the upper fair value gap, it acted as a breakaway gap. The market never returned to it. So what I did myself is I entered this small fair value gap, the lower fair value gap, and then my stop loss was here. Okay, I was actually planning that if I put my stop loss here and my new entry here with a new stop loss here, so that in case if the market kicks me out, okay, I will still be secured a new entry on the above fair value gap. So the market actually it made a divergence inside. It made a divergence inside the sell model with Ethereum. So you can see how the market was actually melting all the way to the downside. Okay, this was actually a beautiful price action. You see how the market was just chopping. It was consolidating inside that 4-hour small FVG. I actually didn't participate in this one, the second move, this one, because I like to see speed plus momentum for me, but I had already placed orders above there. Okay, so you can also see how we engineered sell side liquidity. The market, what the market did, it dropped to this zone. It didn't clean this liquidity, and then we went to retrace, and then it came to that level again, went up, and then we smashed through. So you can see how we engineered buy side liquidity multiple times. There, buy side liquidity here, buy side liquidity here, and also this low. So these three lows, we had like liquidity resting below them, and then check, look at the candle which proved that structure once more. We had a big bang, and then we rejected, and then we smashed again. So this was a beautiful price action. Straightforward, no complications. Okay, so, and then we also had a sell setup on 3-hour time frame. Okay, so we just have to play with the time frames to check for the cleanest sell side, setup. Okay, and then we also have this setup here. I'm currently in on this one. I can see that the market is consolidating and it's not moving. Okay, it's actually there on 4-hour. So we're just going to wait and see how this current setup, it plays out. Okay, we had a sell side, a sell model there, beautiful price action. Okay, so we have the liquidity resting below there, and then we also have a low which I think the market may reach to, which is the weekly low. It's a weekly swing high, so obviously it may take time to reach there, but my eyes are there also. Okay, see this weekly low. You see if the market is willing to go and clean that low, okay, or not, because that is the high of the monthly gap. Okay, so we'll see how price behaves on the upcoming week. Okay, and then we can just go to Ethereum. In these prices, in this downward movement, actually, I did take some losses on smaller time frames, but my bigger time frames were intact. I was also doing some intraday. I actually took a loss yesterday. It was Friday. We had a TGIF set up, which OCT came up with, but my bias was too bearish, which made me lose because I was so fixated. So yeah, and then let's go to Ethereum. Ethereum also moved nicely, but Ethereum was a bit strong. Okay, but that's what I wanna see. I like to see what such things happen. Okay, and another thing which I would like to mention is the SMTs, which okay, there I'll just highlight them. Okay, so with Ethereum we fully, let me remove this first so that you can clearly see the price. Those ones I just use them to navigate price during the movement, in terms of like what are we doing today. So this is our daily gap. Okay, you can see that on a daily we have this. My whiteboard is getting cold. We can see that the market went all the way up to fill the gap. It went all the way up to fill the gap here. Okay, you can see this upward move. We went all the way up to fill that imbalance. Okay, let's go to a smaller time frame to see what the market did. Okay, let's go to 4 hours. When we go to 4 hours, we see that the same thing which happened on Bitcoin, it also happened on this one, but there is a slight difference. Let me just go to Bitcoin. Let me remove everything in Bitcoin. Just leave the daily gap. Let's go to Bitcoin. I want to show you the SMT. On Bitcoin, we had an SMT here. Okay, the market failed to create a higher high. Okay, we have this high here. So we have this on Bitcoin, and then let's check what we formed on Ethereum. Ethereum, we have these. You can see how we formed a higher high on Ethereum. I took that as a signature that okay, we are currently getting signatures from the algorithm that it's going to reverse, because one is forming a high and one is not forming a high. It's creating a divergence right there. So that's why I knew that okay, here we're actually forming a reversal, combining the divergence plus the aggressive break of structure. Okay, so we actually had two gaps there. I did the same with Bitcoin here. I entered the first gap. Sometimes the market has a tendency of leaving a breakaway gap. So I just wanted to be safe. The risk was intact. Okay. So I entered the first setup here on 4 hour. Sometimes I don't have the luxury to look at lower time frames. This was my first setup. You can see how we got stopped out. Okay, and then I entered again on this one. Okay, and then my aim was here. Okay, but I ended up collecting because I saw that we are forming a divergence with Bitcoin. So Bitcoin had already taken those lows, but this one did not take the lows. So I just wanted to be safe. So I took my piece of pie. Okay. But we still have sell side liquidity engineered right there. We'll see how this, you can see how Ethereum is so strong compared to Bitcoin. It doesn't want to melt. So Bitcoin was just melting. Check. Bitcoin melt. Even now you can see how Bitcoin is consolidating inside this 4-hour FVG currently. And then this one, it's already this trading high in premium. So there are high chances that it may go up. I don't know to what extent, but it's very strong. Okay, so yeah, that's what happened this week during Ethereum. We had multiple entries. The market didn't offer only one, it actually offered 3 entries for this week's price action. It offered, there's actually something which I'm even realizing right now. Okay, check how the market, it has disrespected this current, the first it disrespected this first VG. Okay, and then it went to retest the above FVG. Okay, so check what it did. It went to retest the above one, and then it smashed once more below that lower FVG, and then it retested it once more. You can just check the bodies, they almost rejected at the 50% of that gap, and that gap is actually in confluence with the newly created FVG, the newly created 4-hour gap. I framed this setup using that newly 4-hour favorite gap. I was not looking at the old FVG, but now I see that okay, they were actually in confluence, and I think that provides more guarantee to the setup. It it makes it a more strong and area to be rejected. And then you can see how we tested that order block which I highlighted there. We tapped it open and then we rejected, and then the market fell. It fell, and then we created a setup on 3 hour, just like in Bitcoin. Okay, not on 4 hour. On 4 hour it's not clear. Okay, but on 3 hours we had a very beautiful setup right there. There's a network delay. You can see how that price was so beautiful. Okay, that was a very beautiful setup. I didn't go in with this one because it's strong, so I went in on Bitcoin. I'm not confident about this setup because we've already cleared the sell side liquidity on Bitcoin, so I will see how the market behaves when the new week opens. Okay, so yeah, that's just the breakdown of price. How have you priced, guys? For sure, it's ringing something in your ears. So I'll see you. Peace.